Welcome fellow folders to Kota lmai's Japanese Spiny Lobster tutorial. Yes, I said that, but it's not the usual type where I pre-crease the entire model and colour in the lines. It's going to be all about certain parts of the crease pattern. For test folding, I will collapse each part individually in the video, show you how to collapse it, show you how to shape it, etc. if any parts need shaping. Now this is much easier than pre-creasing the full thing. When I uploaded my actual video showing the model and the 5-hour video, etc., I got so many responses and replies and messages saying can you do a full tutorial, and it played on me a bit, but I could not see myself making the grids. That would take me about 2 weeks to make the grids, and then pre-crease, and then colour in, and then try record the collapsing on that size of paper. That would literally take me a month or two just before I can start recording. The time it took me to cut out each part on the crease pattern, print it off, it was a half an hour job. Make the creases an hour in total. So an hour of time is much more appealing than a few months. So that's how it's going to happen. First part we will be covering will be this very fun collapse to do. Now this is the top part of the lobster where we have, as you can probably recognise, the scale pleats, as if you were doing Ryujin, but they're not done like scales. I'll show you how they're done once we have the base collapsed. You could do scales as well. No one's ever done scales. I think that would look really neat as well, because you could do the scales and then puff out, pull the sides up so it would look more 3D, more three-dimensional. That's something no one's done. It could look really cool. Who knows? So yeah, first of all, this is the one we're going to collapse. I'll basically show you the collapsing process, and then if you are actually making the full model and if you have the full sheet pre-creased, just follow this and hopefully it helps you to collapse this part. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in these 4 transition units. These 4 right here, we're just going to extend the creases all the way over. Even though like this mountain fold stops right here, we're just going to extend it all the way across first. So we're basically just going to make like this. I'm just going to tuck it over like that, and then make this a mountain fold. Yeah, that makes sense to do that pleat first. Like that. And just going to extend this up a wee bit. And then the second one. And then I'm just going to extend this all the way down. Even though it's best to, when you collapse parts like this, extend the creases all the way. That way you can get this part as neat as possible. And then you can obviously undo it once it's all collapsed. So once we have these 2 pleats, I'm just going to pinch here and then 90 degrees. Turn it. And if you can see, let me zoom in. You can see we will form that mountain fold right there. This one right here. And then as we do that, we form that and then also make these mountain folds so we know it's correct. And a good thing to try and remember is, if you know you're doing it right, the colours will line up. So the same again, mountain fold, valley fold. And it's a lot harder to try and visualise this on your actual sheet, because more than likely you won't have it coloured in. unless you do and then you decide to paint it. So same again, we're just bringing it right down and then folding over like that. So that is 2 done. We're going to do the exact same again. So first of all, just make this pleat. Zoom out a wee bit. So we're pleating up again. And then once more. Like that. So we've put in the next 2 pleats. And then the same again, so we're just going to, in fact it's different this time, we have the full mountain fold on both sides. What I mean is we have a mountain fold here and here, whereas on this one we have a valley fold as one. So it's the exact same except we've got a mountain fold. Right, let's put this one back together first. So this one then should be easier to collapse. Again, the exact same, let me hold it this way so it's easier to show. Push this part in. Like that. Same on this side. And just like that. And by doing that we can tell that the colours are starting to line up. So again, we know it's correct. So that's the 4 transition units in place first. Again, always make sure that it's as neat as possible because you want to get the base as clean as you can. So shaping can be much more easier and straightforward. Now, next part we are going to put in is just this mountain fold right here. We're just going to pleat it. As you can see, we have a valley fold. The valley fold goes all the way along, so we need to open up and then just fold over and then put it back like that. So it will snap in place naturally. Then it'll basically hold itself right here. And when you make this, when you push that part in, it will hold itself like that. So I won't go too fast in these videos. I will try and slow it down as much as possible because this is as close as you'll get to a full tutorial of this model. So I want to try and make sure it's shown as best as possible. So now we're going to do the exact same on the other side. So we're going to open it up and then this mountain fold will continue to here. Now when you fold this model, always refer to the crease pattern as much as possible. So it can be quite hard to visualise what's supposed to happen when you don't have the creases coloured in. So it can be quite a challenge. I'm just going to fix this on this side because it'll be easier to do that. There we go. Like that. And then then we are just going to make this mountain fold. So we need to pinch it. Fold just over. And then push this part. Because we have valley fold, it doesn't go like that. Because if we did do that, then this would be a mountain fold, which it isn't. And it can't go the other way, because that would be a mountain fold. So it has to sink in. So we just push this in. Like that. Now the same on this side. So we're just going to pinch this one first. And then push it directly up against this part so we can use this valley fold. So like that. So it's squished. And then we're just going to sink this part in. Like that. Now you can tell that we're doing it all correct because these colours are starting to continue, line up. So all valley so far, and then mountain fold, because if we were to unfold it, it's all mixed up. Valley, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. Whereas once we, because we put in these transition units, they all line up. And let me see. Right, so we're going to put in this mountain fold. Probably the last one we need before we can fully collapse or start to work on this part. So same again, we're just going to basically make mountain fold all the way along. Valley fold it. And then we're just going to roughly put these creases in place. Not completely, just to hold it at the moment, basically just like that. And then we can make this mountain fold. Like that. And then mountain fold up. We'll come back to this part at the end, but basically like that. Now we're just going to do the exact same on this side, and once we do it on this side we can work on the top part. So same again, we're just going to roughly put in this crease right here and then the valley fold. Don't worry how it looks up here, we're solely focused on just this part at the moment. This is roughly in position, it's all we need. Now we'll just fold those over. And then mountain, mountain, mountain through all the layers. Oh, it's not lined up. There we go. because when you collapse all this, this part swings round, and then we end up using this valley fold right here, which on the other end will be a full mountain fold, so we know that's correct. So when we bring that over, it's going to naturally want to fold flat on that crease, like that. So we have done that on both sides. Now, let me see, can't put these in just yet. So we'll work on, yeah, we'll put in this crease, because there's quite a lot happens here as well. So we're just going to make a mountain fold, and then a valley fold, and then we can now make this mountain fold right here, because it connects up with the one we just made, and it also connects up with this one. So we can do that, make the mountain fold, and then just fold over, and then by doing that we can also see this is starting to line up. So from red, blue, red to red. So we know that is correct. So we're going to do the same on this side. And now we are just going to start. I forgot to make that crease. Now we've done that, we are going to make mountain fold here. I'm zoom out a wee bit, don't want to be too close so it's out of focus. So we've got the mountain fold here, we have the 90 degrees here. It's not fully collapsed here just yet, but we're setting it up to collapse these ones as well. So again, we're going to make the next mountain fold above it. And then as we do that, we are going to try and put these creases in place. So you may need to open up the paper and see what the creases are doing, how they're supposed to be collapsed. So just again, look at the crease pattern, it will really help. I was going to show you how to do this part, but it's easier if we do this part first. So we're just going to make a mountain fold on this crease and fold over, and then you're going to push in this part like this. It's probably easier if you adjust it on this side, on the underneath. So that's what it looks like underneath. You can see that it's in focus. And it can be a quite confusing part, this little fella right there. But it goes in like that, and then you just push it down. And then as we do that, this will lie flat. These valley folds will line up. This mountain fold lines up, so that's what we're going to make. We're going to make this mountain fold and then valley fold. First of all, we're just going to bring this part back under. So it's probably easier if you hold it underneath, just to keep these pleats in place and then maybe hold it here as well. So I'm just going to basically just imagine the crease goes all the way along, and then we're just going to push it under or over like that. And then when you push that over, you bring, doing that uses all the creases correctly except one, last one, which is this one right here, this valley fold. It's not being used. Every other crease is being correctly used. So in order to use that valley fold, we just fold it over like that. And then we can put in this crease. So we need to open it up and then push in that part. It's going to like go underneath it and then push it back up. So it's probably easier if we just make this valley fold first. And then you want to have it like this, and then fold it over. And then like that. And there we go, we have collapsed that part. So again, it can be a bit confusing. What is more challenging on the actual sheet of paper that you use, because it's much bigger and there's a lot more paper to work with, but it's a lot more challenging. So again, we have this. We're going to make the valley fold. Push this part behind. When you push it behind, it will look like this. So we made the valley fold and then we just push it over. And there we go. So now we're going to do the same again on this side. So we're just going to again make this plate. Try to figure out what's the best position to hold this. Maybe this way again. And then we need to put in this little part. So we're just going to basically make the mountain fold it over, and then if you have tweezers they will help. Just grip it and then pull it down. And then again check the underside to make sure it's all correct. And now again it's just a matter of putting in the rest of these creases. Now we can make again the mountain fold and valley fold. So holding the plates on top and on bottom, I'm pushing up to make this mountain fold, and then just push over as best as you can. Now I'm just going to make this mountain fold fully at the moment to make it easier to collapse. And then once we do that, we will use this mountain fold. This one right here, and then this one, because they both line up, and we just need to fully use that valley fold there, so it wasn't lying perfectly flat. So I just put in this, and focus, there we go, this valley fold. I just push this part up to make it line up. So now the mountain fold completely lines up, so we can use that. And then I'm just going to push up and in. Like that. And then we're just going to unfold it. A good tip is, once you have it in place, really crease it or press it so we can unfold it, and the memory of the paper will know where it's supposed to be, and then we can put it back in place if it does happen to come out. So it's same again, we are just going to push this part in. Make this valley fold as well. And then bring it over. When you bring it over, like that, you can feel it snap into place, and then you can feel it line up behind this part right there. So like that. Or it's probably easier to do it from this side. You just make, you'd hold it like this, press it together, and then fold it over. That could be easier. And then we're just going to put in the rest of these creases. Like that. So I will just basically unfold it and then show you again. Because it's all memorised, it should all come together nice and easily when I slowly collapse it. So we made the valley fold, the mountain fold, and then we tuck this part in behind. So we're going to push it, and then with my finger here I'm just going to pull the flap over until I feel it snap in place. So from behind I'm going to push it and then pull it over until I feel it snap in place like that. So I know that's correct. And then the mountain fold, bring that over, and then just assorting the rest of these creases in place, like so. Now we can unfold this part and then make these mountain folds, because we've got this in place, so this should help set us up for the next part. Now these parts swivel around 90 degrees, Okay, I think it'd be easier if we... The next part we're going to put in is we're going to basically make the rest of these pleats, and that will allow us to collapse the bottom part, and then we can undo the top to fill in the last of these creases. So basically we're just going to force these mountain folds in place. So we're just going to start pleating over. Don't worry, because it probably won't lie flat unless you like extend the paper up. So yeah, you can even do that. So like that. So we're just putting the rest of these pleats in place, and then just on this side. So we'll try one side first. Now, because we have done that, if you've noticed, this is one continuous mountain fold, where if we unfolded it, there is all these valley folds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But because we have all the pleats correctly in place, it's one mountain fold. So we're going to try and make this mountain fold. Just fold it over. We'll come back to this part in a second. I just want to try and have this held in place so it's easier to work with. I may need to peg it, but I'll try it first. Right, let me peg it. That'll be easier. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do this side first and then this one. So now that we've made all that mountain fold, now just remember to use this valley fold for this mountain fold as well, because they get tucked inside one another to be able to get fully used. So we're going to unfold it and then make this mountain fold, this little diagonal one right here. And that just gets folded over like that. So like that. And then the rest is fine, it's only that one that you need to do it for. Then we're just going to make that mountain fold at the very bottom. This mountain, the valley fold, the mountain fold doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the paper, so it creates a sort of gusset. And then when you do that, it will near enough lie flat. So I can unpeg that. I'll peg this one just in case it starts to open up. Now we're going to do the exact same on the right hand side. So first of all we need to put this mountain fold in place. And that's how it will look from this angle. It keeps coming down. Just use the tweezers. And then we'll push that back in place. get rid of this peg. Now we're just going to make that mountain fold, now which will create the gusset, and then we'll just invert it. You can either invert it or fold it over. I think I folded mine over because I couldn't manage to fold this back the way. I think it was just too small, I'm not entirely sure, but I do remember doing that. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't get seen anyway, it gets hidden. And once you do that, just fold it over. Try to get it to lie flat. So near enough, like that. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. Now we can put in the last of these creases on the top. So if you have something like this, where I have the mountain fold going all the way up, then we need to undo this and put in these little squares, because we have a mountain fold here, which is actually a valley fold, and then the mountain fold is where the valley fold is. Pardon me. So if we open up from the side, we have little squares, and in these squares are exactly what we need, which is this, which is this mountain fold right here. Which comes up, basically again, transition unit, and then makes this mountain fold, and then we have one on this side as well. The next part we are going to collapse is this part just underneath, basically the first pleat that we did for the transition unit. Now we need to unfold it, because it's not actually a mountain fold and there's no actual valley fold here where we had a valley fold. But if we make all of these mountain folds up, so we're going to undo that pleat first and then remake this pleat, the pleats over, because doing so will make all this a valley fold, and then the one underneath right here a mountain fold, which we can then use. So we're going to undo that one, fold over, fold over, and fold over. And now I can get all these pleats in one place. Yeah. Now we have this mountain fold. We have this mountain fold, which lines up with this one, and then this one. So it's the same on this side, and then we make this valley fold right here. I don't think I'll be able to fully show this part because the paper is really small, but I'm sure I covered it in the other video, so I'll try and find that and link it in the description. It's definitely too small for this part. It's going to be a last little big push before we can get it to fully lie flat. And again, this part won't lie flat in here because I can't fully show it. It's too small to actually try it, but look at the crease pattern, you'll figure it out. Now we need to again open up these pleats here so we can make this one continuous mountain fold. and then slot in the transition units on each of the sides. I'm just going to undo that as well. And then once we do that, we can finally use this mountain valley fold. So this is just going to get pushed inside this part because we have 3 valley folds meeting. So I'll push that in. And the same there as well. And there, we just want this mountain fold like that. So just like that. I'll try and collapse this part first, just to hold it in place. Wait, I need to do the other one as well. So if you flip it over, and then here as well. So I'm just going to make this one continuous mountain fold just to make it easier to collapse this part. Get a grab on this mountain fold. The left side's fine. So like that. If you manage to get it like that, then we're good. This is probably one of the most trickiest parts on the model to collapse because we have all these angles or creases all come together at once at a very small portion of the paper. So it's a lot to work with to try and get it correct. So we're going to do the same with this one here, over here as well. We're just going to keep it nice and symmetrical. So we're going to push this part underneath. And again, this part is already underneath, so that's fine. And just get to push that part underneath as well. Then doing that, all this lines up these valley folds. So I'm just going to try and do this side first. There we go, like that. So that's the first one. This one right here. And then the second one, I'm going to flip it around. Yep, so I'm going to make this mountain fold fully, just to make it easier to try and get this part collapsed. Because if it makes it easier, then I can easily unfold it once it's done. So let me see. I just need to pull this part up. Come on, take the full crease. That'll do. That'll do. But make sure yours is neater than mine. So we have 2 here, we need 2 more right here. And then these 2 on the outside are full mountain folds, so we'll get those last. These 2 right here are the same as the 2 we had just done. So that's the first one. And then the second one. So I'm just going to quickly press these just to make sure they remember where they are in case they come undone. Now the final 2 which are right here, so we just need to pull this over. And then because we have this little assortment of creases, we had the paper at sort of this angle, sort of like that. We need to bring it 90 degrees. So I'm going to pinch right here. I'm going going to pin here and then bring it 90 degrees, so like that. Then that allows me to make this crease. Then I can fold that over and then fold that back, and then there we go. Oh, why can it focus? So that's how you do that one. So the same again, I'm going to grab this side, I'm going to bring it 90 degrees, make the valley fold, and then fold it back up. And then let me just see what is happening with this part here. I can't remember what we're doing here. Oh yeah. So if you can see, I'm just making this mount fold. Wait. Oh yeah. So we have something like this. Again, we have a, way off camera, we have a 90 degree position right here. So we need to make this valley fold and mountain fold. And then this will fold over. Wait till it's in focus. That will fold over. Like that. And then we'll just fold this part up. Where's the mountain fold? Here it is here. And then you tuck it inside. So we had this. We brought these two together. I'm going to swivel this over and then bring together. So that is this entire side collapsed. We just need to do the exact same on this side. So again, I'm going to unfold that plate, make the mountain fold, and then I'm going to make this valley fold right here. And then I need to remake this one because it came undone. And then grab these two, fold it over, and then up. Valley fold up. And then basically all that's left to collapse is remake this mountain fold. So right, oh, we have camera. So right here, so make this the mountain fold, mountain fold, mountain fold, and then we've already got this mountain fold right here. Let me put this back in place. And that gets folded over, and then these little tiny assortment of creases make it lie flat, but I can't do that because the paper is too small, but it all comes together nice and flat. And that is it. We have collapsed the top part of Kota's Japanese Spiny Lobster. Let me just try and get it all nice and neatly flat and then press it all so it holds its position. It's a challenge and a half. So we don't need to worry about these parts, we'll just leave them like that. There we go, so that's, oops, that is what it looks like. Quite a marvellous piece for all that work to go into it. Now I think I'm just going to get another sheet of paper and do a quick example of how to shape the sort of rough spiky parts on top. From now to shape the sort of spiky part. Now when we undo one of these pleats, you will of course have something just like for Eugene. You have the same format and position as if you were going to make scales. Something like that. So that's what we have. And that's what you get when you do that. Now, what I did is, let me think again, it wasn't half. Yeah, I'm sure I made a pinch here and then folded up. And then I open sunk this part. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. So we're just going to basically make this amount and fold. Open sink it. Or squash and then fold over the valley fold like that. Yeah, that's what I did. And then once I did that, I just curved a nice curve from the top to the bottom. That's what I did for mine. I think that looked really neat. When the light hits it from different angles, it creates the nice shadows. This part of Kota's Japanese Spiny Lobster, if you plan to make it, and if it does help, then great. If it doesn't, don't worry, keep trying, you can manage this. It's a complex model, and I know that if you are brave enough to attempt it, then that's all you need to get through it. And that is it. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next part, probably in the next couple of days.